Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Gostak, a language deciphering interactive fiction game that I've been enjoying for about 2 hours. And as you may recall, I'm keeping my notes in a SQLite database. We'll see how well that works. So far, it's been fine. It's not the easiest way. Like, I don't know. Maybe I would have just been fine writing notes in a text file and using Control F liberally. Who knows? But this is a little bit more structured and an excuse to brush up a little bit on very, very basic SQL. I think I said at the end of the last episode that I was just about ready to leave the starting room, having exhausted things to do here. And then I was like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot that the... Where did I get the verb dirch from? I don't remember. Something told me about dirching. Was it? Go on. Was it in here as like a? I don't think it was about doching, because that's talking. Yeah, that's not a thing. I don't think it was this. Yeah. I'm also... Well, okay, let me just keep looking for a bit. Here, yes. I was told I could dirch a child, but nothing interesting would happen. And so at the end of the last episode, I said, well, let's try dirching a few things in the neighborhood. And man, every time I visit the manual, it erases my scroll back buffer, so I can't scroll up anymore. Kind of annoying. But I tried dirching a glitch, and like, no, they weren't going to be very stam of that, which, fair enough. You can't... Nothing happens when you dirch the rascable gland. But there are frikes, aren't there? Aren't they in, like, they're swimming around, or while they're... Oh no, frike is right. Is what the gitches are doing. And I tried to dirch a dusket, but there aren't any, right? It's very remarkable that this Delcot has no duskets. Weird, right? So I was looking around for things to dirch at the end of the last episode and see if there was anything interesting I could dirch. And like, nothing happened when I tried to dirch the rascable Gloud, but maybe the other Glouds do something? So like, what were all the Glouds around? Like, what if I tried to dirch the Poltive one, right? It wouldn't be stam of that. Well, what do I care what you think, man? It's just a Gloud. The rascable one I can pick up and put in my pocket, but the Poltive one I can't even dream of doing something about that. And this one I can't. So maybe the Poltive one is sentient in some way, or has more agency than the others do. Okay. What about the Genth? Yeah, nothing's happening on these. Now, what the hell? How? I jumped out of my chair. You can't dirch me back. Okay, that's messed up, man. I don't know what this is happening, but this feels very, what's the word for what I'm thinking of? Not intimate exactly, but... I don't know, I'm just imagining some kind of like body horror stuff going on here. I'm getting dirched by this thing, and we're dirching each other. It seems consensual, I guess. You know, but still a little weird to me, an alien. I'm sure the Gostak I'm playing as is enjoying dirching, though. Alright, so dirching all these things did not accomplish anything. Is it Brangy? Is that a real thing? You read nothing he knew about the Brangy. All right. It's just like the ground or the ceiling or something, and there's nothing interesting about it. Fine. What did I learn about the Hogum, by the way? I don't remember. There's glitches. Yeah, glitches. Okay. So before I leave the room, though, there was one thing I remembered that I hadn't quite decoded all of, which is that, like, I can look around at the room, right? And it just tells me, here's all this stuff. But the kind of introductory text I got the first time I started the game doesn't seem to be getting reprinted, right? That was like a one-time only deal. Which is crazy, because that's such an important mission statement, right? So I went and looked at the review of the game that I used to find a link to the game, and which also had those first 3 sentences printed in it. So I'll read those again. Finally, here you are at the Delcott of Tandem, still don't know what that is, where dashes deave. Still don't know what dashes are, but deaving is like... Well, a deave is a place, so it is where they reside. It is their place, the place of dashes, probably. And indeed, a dashery suggests, yes, that's where the dashes are. Great. Sorry, you can't actually see this text. I was reading it to you, and then I tried to highlight dashery, but I forgot you can't see it. Oh, whatever, I'll just keep reading. But the dashery lut is krend with glods. So first of all, if I look in my dictionary, for the word lut, I think this means direction, right? Yeah. But reading the word, but the dashery lut is krend with glands doesn't make any sense. The dashery direction? You know, maybe it's the door. Maybe it's the path or something like that, right? It doesn't quite fit with what I know, because it's sort of, this would suggest that like every sequence of rooms is connected by doors, if lut really means door. And maybe that is sort of implied? I don't know. You can't palette all luts from all D. So like, a lut is kind of also a door in some way. I think it is both a direction and a door. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the dictionary. So anyway, this text goes on. The dashery lut is krend with glods. So I guess one thing I could do is just look at the dashery lut here. There's no such thing. Okay. So this is listing 8 things, right? Yes. These are the 8 cardinal and semi-cardinal directions. Kerf, jerf. Oh, I wrote down G earlier as the direction, but actually that was because it was like I was looking at, you know, G Hoff or something, which uses a shortened form of G. But jerf is actually south. So let me wait. Is my window capture still right here? Why is the text input is not at the bottom? I guess just because I haven't typed enough yet on this screen. Okay. So let me update direction. Set is direction the one I have? This is Gostak instead of Gostak. Yes, it's the one that's wrong. Fine. Update direction set Gostak equal jerf, where Gostak is G. Oh, and I still have fesh being topic in there, huh? Did I manage to already export that to my definitions thing? No, I didn't. So I was supposed to move that one, but I didn't because I got confused at the time I was writing this stuff. Okay. So fesh means topic-ish. So now if I look at all my directions, I just have the 4. Jerf and kerf, hof and lof. In the directions that every VIer should expect them to be. So luff, or lut here, when I've said examine lut, says, well, which one do you mean? And it lists all 8, even though this room only has like 3-ish exits. So, like, what happens if I want to look left? Nothing interesting. But if I want to look like the J lot? No, there's nothing there either. So, like, I'm allowed to look in that direction, even though there isn't a door there. So maybe it's an exit? Something like that? Anyway, let's continue reading the text we had at the beginning of the game. The Doshri Lut is krend with glods. Glods. How wrong it would be to pell back to the buhl. So the buhl is like where I came from, I guess. And distunk them. Distunk the whole delcot. Now we've seen the word distunk somewhere. And I believe it was in the section of the manual about undoing. Under hemidapes, probably? Maybe not. Yeah, I guess that's not a thing. All right. I don't think this is anything about distunking. Yeah, just Luke with that fesh. Like, type that direction, that topic, I guess, or place. You know, type that thing. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. So maybe I haven't seen the word distunk anywhere else. But I know that the word tunk does mean something, right? That's what T is short for. I've been saying T, but it means examine. So to distunk in some way is to unexamine? Perhaps? To, like, unexist? Forget about them. Oh. How roared it would be to pell back to the buhl and distunk them. Distunk the whole delcot. Let the drogues uncren them. Yeah. So that's not talking about destroying them. I think it might be about, like, choosing not to see them and let the drogues handle them. I don't know what a drogue is. But you are the Gostak. The Gostak distims the dashes. And no glod will vorl them from you. Yeah. So, some words there that I did add to my dictionary, and some that I didn't. Some other things I can try before I go, though. We haven't tried doching at all, right? So if I say doch, you'll be like, what do you mean? I want to doch. The only thing I can doch at here is like, what are those things called? A gitch? I want to doch at the naft of gitches. Tell me all about, dashery? There is no disposh. That's probably a response, right? Doch at... I assume they're not going to respond to anything I say here, but tell me everything you know about gitches. Yeah, they don't answer. So disposh is probably something like response. And, I mean, I don't think there's a lot else I can do here. Without any understanding of what all this means. There's some objects mentioned here, right? Like the Samalan, but that's in the Hoff direction. I'd have to move Hoff to go see that, I think. I tried looking at it before, and I was like, sorry, you can't reach. I looked at the Kerpel, but I didn't really understand. Oh yeah, it's the Kerpel of a Morleon. Great. You know, don't know what to do about that. Morleons have Kerpels. I mean, that's good to know, I guess. Could be the root of a tree. Could be the head of a robot. Okay, well, let's just head... I think I tried going Hoff and I couldn't go. Yeah, you can't go that way. So there's... I don't understand what the Samalan to the Hoff of the Gomway is all about. If I can't go Hoff, but fine. So... It does seem like I ought to be able to go KL? Is that Kyloff? Northeast? Yeah. I've done it. I've taken my first step. 18 minutes into video 3, the first two both being a bit over an hour, I think. I have left my starting location. I have been birthed. You're on a Gomway, Deeving Hoff, with Gropples on the Fosk. There's a stake across the Gomway here, and the Delcot is to Jerf. Yes. We just went Kyloff, so Jerf... Well, wait a minute. If I went northeast, the Delcot should be southwest, not just... Oh, Jerf. Yeah, Jerf should be... It should be Jai Hoff of me, not just Jerf. It's a Gomway heading Hoff. So if I try to go JI? No. Wait, what am I saying? Not I. JH? You can't go that direction. So I went KL, but actually it just took me... K? So if I try to go... Let's pellet Kyloff, please. Yeah, this takes me the same way. Weird. I don't know why this... Do directions not work the same way here? I don't think that's true. Because I asked for all 8... I asked, like, hey, look in a direction. And it said, which one do you mean? And it listed 8. And they had clear opposites. So for some reason, although this doorway is described as being northeast and north, it's actually just north. So I don't quite understand the description of the passageway, but okay, fine. Anyway, I'm on a Gomway. It's Dieving Hof. So I assume I could go Hof from here if I wanted. With Gropples on the Fosk. Well, we better examine those things. Nothing interesting about the Fosk. Not even the Gropples? The Gomway is motched with them. Motched looks like covered, but I don't think I really need to know that. Like, I don't have to write that down. Oh, speaking of not having to write things down, I guess we can hide this for now. There's a Stike across the Gomway. Was that getting in my way or something? It deeves across the Gomway. Sure. Well, can I go Hof? I can. So Gomway, this is like a catwalk kind of thing, or a path anyway. Dieving Lof, east, and Kerf, north. With Gropples on the Fosk again. A Pilter Dieves here. Tunking the Fosk for Gropples to Lail. So a Pilter is some kind of animal. Because it has agency. It's tunking stuff. It's not just there. It's tunking. And furthermore, it wants to leal the stuff. And I concluded before, I thought leal might be eat. That was the one plausible guess I had for leal besides receive. And receive doesn't make much sense in this context. So let's go ahead and say that a grapple is a food item and a Pilter is an animal of some kind. So I don't want to say grapple means food item. It's an example of a food item. Oh, I thought I turned back on this thing. Sorry. Not that there's anything really riveting in here, but okay. So I guess I should just pick up a grapple for myself. They're Shoracle. They're stuck. Maybe? Lil Grapple first rusking it. Sorry, you can't. They're Shoracle. Okay. So Shoracle is like stuck or something like that. Could mean too far away, out of reach, but I mean, this Pilter thinks it can reach them. It's looking for ones it can eat. I do have eat in there for Leal, don't I? I don't. Okay. I ought to just change. I'd delete the one with take, but I'll leave it for now. Seems like the only thing I can really, well, I could examine the Pilter, of course. Not X, but T. A Mavris Plave with Murgus Goves, tunking the Hoff Lut. The Pilter, he lailed a grapple. I couldn't lail the grapple. They were Shoracle, man. What the hell? This Pilter is way too, he's OP. Okay. He's checking out the west door, but he found a grapple to leal. He's Mavris and he's a Plave. He's got Goves. I don't know what any of that means. They're animal body part descriptors. Hopefully the details don't matter to me right now. Let's head Well, this Gomway is only going loft, the direction I came from, and kerf. I don't really want to go kerf, I don't think. I mean, it seems like it's almost the only direction I can go, right? Let's just double check. I went loft and jerf back to where I started. Where else can I go here? Kill off and kerf. Yeah, so I was hoping to get to the Samalan to the half of me, but it seems like I can only go kind of like northwest north. All right. Oh, the Pilter just went kerf as well. I guess I'll chase him. You're on Gomway, Dieving Hoff and Jerf. With Gropples on the Fosk. There's a Stike across the Gomway. Yeah. I don't know how to interact with Stikes yet. I looked at it and it just said, well, it's across the Jerf, or the Gomway. Don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it's across the Gomway. All right, well, let's head Hoff again. You're on Gateway, Dieving Hoff, Loth. So I've reached the end, right, of this bridge or something. To Hoff is the Samalan you rebbed from the Delcot. Okay, can I look at it yet, or do I have to go even closer? Okay, fine. You have to pell at it before you can tunk it. Fine. Let's go Hoff. A Samalan for the Drokes of Tondum. So Tondum, this is like the city we're in, maybe, or some larger area description. You can pell at the Delcot to Jyloff, or the Gomway to Loth. Well, I just came from the Gomway to Loth. And the Delcot to Jyloff, I couldn't go there before. Maybe I could go back, but it would be like a one-way door that for some reason I couldn't get to from here. It's from the other side. A Droke is doching at himself by the Hoff Lut. Ooh. You can also reb here a darftunder. Well, I'd love to droch to a Droke, but let me just look around first. Let me just tunk around, excuse me. So tell me about the Samalan. Okay, this is just telling me about the whole area. So a Samalan is not an object in the room. It is the room. It's a, who knows, a shop. Could be anything. Right. Well, let's have a look at the darftunder, I guess. It's a dedicated darftunder with 3 coins. The number 3 is given to me, huh? I don't have to learn that. The Brimney coid is reicht Bomley. The Clarby coid is reicht Gemley. And the Statched coid is reicht Bomley. Its Chender rasks a Tarshan Darf. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Well, I mean, I guess I'll have a look at the Clarby coid in case I can understand that any better than I could the whole thing. It's currently right Gimli. Mm-hmm. And it's like nailed to the floor. I can't pick it up, I'm imagining. Rask. Darftunder. That's Shorkle, yeah. Just like all the Gropples were. So it's stuck to the ground. So there's some sort of machine here that I can interact with in some way. I can set its coids in. It looks like they each have 2 positions, right? Can I write things? I can write things. So what if I wanted to write the Brimney coid Gemley? You can do that, yeah. And then if I look at it again, I mean, this might be a... Oops. I wanted to T the whole thing. So now the Brimney one is Gemley. Yeah, so I can fiddle with the levers on this object. I don't know yet what it does or what modes I want, and hopefully I didn't just put it in self-destruct or whatever, but I wanted to make sure that I understood what I could do with stuff. So a coid is like a toggle of some kind. Or at least that's one thing a coid can be. And gemly and bombly are like on and off, maybe, when viewed as toggles. I don't think I need to do that. Well, what if I found one of these where they were all in gemly mode and I was like, oh, I clearly need to swap them, but I don't remember what the other mode is called. I guess it would be useful to have that written down, right? So I don't know what the states are, but they're two distinct states. Okay. And its gender rasks a tar. So it's like it carries a Tarshandarf. It's Rorm. That's lovely, right? Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, I don't know that's what it means, but when I was at the beginning of the game, I said, oh, how Rorm it would be to just forget all about these stupid dashas, right? Or whatever. And it clearly was like, you know, a desirable state of some kind. At the time, I thought it might have been easy, but the object is probably not easy. That doesn't make sense. So lovely is looking good. Can I take it? Or can I rask it? I can. But the darftunder now no longer has... Gender is Thale. Empty? What do you do to give things? Was it Daub or something? Pob. Pob. I've already forgotten what thing I picked up. Pob, the Darf, at the Chender. At. Feshless. Oops, don't print. I got 2 Emacs build and tried to Control P to go back. Pob, my Darf? Feshless. What do you mean feshless? There is no Chender at the darftunder? Feshless. So maybe fesh means like sense or idea? This is ridiculous? I mean, fesh has meant a lot of things so far. It's a topic, it's a direction. Curious. Okay, well, hopefully this darftunder doesn't need to have the Darf I just took from it. R is for look around. Well, let's have a look at the Droke, I guess. He just dees Gur the Loflut, doching at himself about the Cobbix. So, Gur. We've seen that word twice now, I think. But I don't remember where. Did I write it down? Because I don't think I had any idea what it meant at the time. No, I didn't. Gur with a G. Yeah, not in here, right? There's gur with an M in mer with an M in this one. Yeah. I don't think I know about mer. Well, no, I saw it once, I think. Maybe it was in a description of an object at the starting area, though. So mer seems to be near or outside or... Right? Something like that? This guy have an opinion about gitches, do you think? Weird gur of gitches here. The Delcott is motched with them. Hence the Hogum. Motched. Well, isn't that... I saw this word just a little bit ago and was like, I'm not going to need to know that word. But it was covered, right? I got in here... If I were to go... Lof. And when I looked at the... Gropples... Not X, but T... Yeah... So, covered, infested, teeming, maybe. All right. So back to the Samelin. Delcott is motched with them. They're weird gur of gitches. We're... How can you be... Wait, it says by here. Didn't it say mer a minute ago? What? Am I crazy? I must be. I thought it said he was Mur the Loft Hut or something. We're Gurgitches, yeah. So we're like they are unenchanted by. They dislike Gitches. The Delcott is motched with them, hence the Hogums. The Hogum, like, when I was at the starting area, there was a Hogum that the Gitches were like kind of somehow interacting with. And maybe that Hogum was also what was keeping me from walking directly to this Samelin. It was like a gate or something. Okay. So the Hogum is some kind of barrier. Okay. And it seems to work on both me and Gitches. All right, well, let's talk to him about some other stuff. What do you know about glods? Those seem very important to me. There's 5 glods, unless the Galloper tunded more. Interesting. So the Galloper puts. Tund is like to put or to place. So there are glods, and this guy knows about them, and he expects there'll be 5, but sometimes the Galloper brings in more. Well, actually, I mean, I guess this just belongs more in... It's been a while since we've added a new subject-verb kind of sentence, but the galloper... I mean, probably that's a person who gallops, but in particular, he's able to tund glods. A galloper can tund a glod. I said tend, you idiot! This isn't English? Tund. There, okay. You have to know about, like, a irascible glod? Hardly a glod at all. Unless you're a dusket or a plave or something and can't rasp things. Oh, they're too small to carry things. It's not much of a glod. What about the comic glod? Those comics aren't staying with their glods. They aren't happy with them. Stam is happiness, I think. Why, most comics statch their glods with poscut. Dummies. Because of the poscut, they smib into the brangy when you dirge them. So brangy, that's something like water, maybe. There was brangy around that the gitches were friking in, I think. But you can't dirge them until they're blied, and I've never read a comic glod that was blied. Huh. Well, I mean, poscut is something that can be applied to glods and is by comics, so I guess I should write that down. I've got this whole SVOO thing just for sentences like this one where I don't know what it all means, but recording relations between words is what this table is for, not necessarily the definitions of words themselves. So I know a comic can definitely statch a glod with poscut. You know? Why not? And I furthermore know that just about anybody, for example, me, the Gostak, can dirge just about anything, probably, but in particular, a glod. And blide, I mean, something like ripe. I think, like, you can't dirge them because they're not blide yet. But once it is blide, you can dirge it. And the comic ones, they usually smib into the brangy before that happens. So, fine. But in principle, you could blide one. So now the problem is, I don't remember what all the other kinds of glods were. There's a glod with something? Maybe it'll just auto-complete that for me. It was with robble or something? One of the other jokes pobbed a regular. Yeah, maybe it had that. Maybe it was a glod with regular. One of the other jokes okay, let me hide this. Pobbed a regular in the Foston. This seems important. But we can't gom there now. The whole Morleon was toffed by the Gamda that tunded the Galloper. What? This is a very surprising sentence. Because a minute ago we learned that a Galloper can tund glods. But this thing called a Gamda, it can tund a Galloper? And furthermore, I don't really, like, we don't know what a Morleon is, but I was like, oh, it could be a kind of tree or something, because there was a curdle or something, or a curdle or whatever, in the entry, in the the starting area. I can't remember what it's called. Delcot had a thing, and I looked at it, and it was like, oh, it's the thing of a Morleon. So, like, huh. And it was a tough thing as well. So we're seeing now the explanation for how that Morleon became Tofted. And it seems to have been caused by a droke who pobbed a regular in the Foston, but I don't know what any of that shit means. I mean, to pob is to put, I think. So putting a regular in the Foston, sure. Well, I guess I may as well add that that's a valid sentence. SVOO that thing up. I won't bother popping up the note-taking app because it's not that interesting here, but a droke is capable of pobbing a regular at a Foston. Okay. We can't go on there now. The whole Morleon was toffed by the Gamda that tunded the Galloper. So Gamdas have, it seems, a lot of power in some way. A Gamda is able to tund a Galloper, but not only that, it is able to toff a Morleon. So that's interesting. But you're a Gostak. Tofted is nothing to you, eh? Yeah, I could untoff things whenever I want, probably. Alright, let's head back and examine what the other kinds of Glods were. There were 2 left, I think. Well, I know. There were 5, and we've talked about 3 of them. The ones I could remember. So, we came from the Loft. Actually, what if I go Jyloft from here? Back to the Delcot. So can I go Kaihoff from here? I can. So I can just walk back here. But, like, this doesn't say that, right? It says there's a Samlin to the Hoff. There's a Gomway to the Kerf. But when I went Kerf, it didn't take me to a place that was just Hoff, or Loft, rather, of the Samlin. It took me somewhere else, and I had to go around in a big circle to get to the Samlin. Weird. Okay. Well, anyway, take me back to the Jyloft, please. Because I wanted to have a look at all the Glods. Which one? Oh, yes, the Pultive one. And the Glod with the Rogler. So Rogler is interesting because when I asked him about it, he said, oh, yeah, we put a Regler in. That's not a Rogler, but it's very similar. Kind of weird, eh? It's the Pultive Glod and the Glod of Jenth. Yeah, okay. Take me back to the Kaihoff, please. No. The Jyloff? No, what? I went Jyloff, getting back the Delcot. Then I went Kaihoff, getting back the Samlin. Then I went Jyloff again, getting back the Delcot. And then I looked at something. Oh! It was at... Okay. this was not a separate command. It was me filling in which glot I meant with the previous command. If I now go Kaihoff, it should work fine. Okay. So tell me about the Pultive one, please. This is the one that was not going to be happy about me dirching it. That which is Pultive can be zanked, among other things. So I've seen the word zank before, and it was with the gitches that were swimming around in the Delcot, or excuse me, friking around in the Delcot. They were occasionally sanking things in order to leal them, which I believe means to eat. So they were grabbing them. And I guess you can zank the Pultive Glove? Okay, well, good to know. I'll try that in a minute. But first, tell me what the glot of Genth. Ah, Genth. It can't be dirched or zanked or scobed. But I once rebbed a pank and a sitch of Genth. The pank mouthed the Genth with its goves, and it just popped from where it was krend. So krend still seems like stuck, right? Oops, sorry. And so a pank is something with agency. It's an animal of some kind, probably. And I mean, I guess we can say pretty comfortably that a pank can malk Genth, I guess. Now, Goves is not really the indirect object of this sentence, so I don't think I'm going to insert it here. You know, I have an adjective table, don't I? Yeah. Not much in it, I think. I just know it's possible for Tendos to be Garmy. But I guess it's time for my second insertion there. Insert into adjective values. Well, no. It's not an adjective. It's a description of a noun. Oh, I still have the SVO table? Drop table SVO, please. Thanks. SVOO is the new one that has become canonical. Yeah, so I know panks have goves, but it's not really an adjective. It's govy. And it popped from where it was krend. Okay. So, do you know about just like Genth in general? The Darf of Genth? Where's the Darf of Genth? Darfs of Genth are skirm. It's a wainted phaliger. Skirm, always the Darfs of Genth. Don't know what that means. Well, I mean, I guess I could say one thing I do know about it, though. Actually, wait a minute. What? Adjective. I know that well, a Darf of Genth is Skirm. I don't know that a Genth is Skirm or a Darth is Skirm, really. But I guess a Darf in general can be Skirm, and in particular it is if it is a Darf of Genth. And you know what? I know also it's possible for Falagers to be Wainted. I mean, this looks like it's a damn shame, doesn't it? All right. Well, there's plenty more I'd like to talk to you about. Let's have a look through my my little dictionary here. Everything I know the definition of, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to ask him about every one of these words, but like Rorm? Those are Rorm, not like the Palgic ones. If you're stam of those, Tunda Wom one. The Wom ones are even Snaver. Oh, okay. Can you tell me about Wom? That's a Darf for a Gostak, that is. A Darf. Huh. Okay, if you say so. What other words could I ask about? I mean, Pell, I know what it means, but you haven't read or been doached about any such thing. So he doesn't want to talk about verbs, maybe. Anything about Deeps? No. You know anything about Mostics? No. But we've seen Lutz before. I can't doach anything at you about that. Alright. Well, there was a Loft-Lut, right? That's where we came from. Or Jyloff. That's the direction back to the Delcot, isn't it? Yeah. He doesn't know anything about that. Kyle? Well, maybe he can talk to me about some animals. You know anything about fisheries? Probably not, right? No, no one's talked to me about those before. Stam? No. He's not that chatty, is he? He was at first, but now I've just started going through my whole dictionary and finding things he doesn't want to talk about. So what about Gropples? I'm staying with the Gropples on the Gomway, but Pilters are always ladling them. Yeah. So you like these, but the Pilters are always grabbing them. Makes sense. And what about a Pilter? We're always driving Pilters on the Gomway. They're almost as Maverish as Panks, but you can't tund Gropples without Pilters. And tund is to pick up? No, that's Rask. Tund is to like put down, isn't it? Alright, well what about a Pank? Mergus Goves. Those Panks Rask. Rask? That means pick up, though. They carry? They carry Sneaky Fleas? They can Malk Sindish or Bolt Up the Calbice off a lawn. Yeah, that's not really anything I can work with at the moment. Tell me about the Hoggle? Mm-hmm. But I guess I should ask him about the darftunder. Darftunder, it tons of darfs. Just dirt it and it'll ton the darf for you. Oh, okay, thanks. It tons a project darf and pops it into a chender. What? Oh, I typed R. I meant Rask. But not the Tarshan Darf, the Palgic Darf. Yeah, I already have one. Okay, interesting, interesting, interesting. Yeah, I guess I should have realized the Darftunder would ton Darfs. Didn't think to dirch it, even though I dirched everything in the first room. Well, this has been a lovely doge sesh, my guy, but I guess I'm going to have to take a break for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.